She's considered as the woman to watch out for in Asia, and he's a man who's much loved in the advertising circles in India and abroad. I have with me Kiat, CEO of BBDO Asia, and Josy Paul, Chairman and CCO of BBDO India. Thank you for joining us. You know, I realized both of you joined BBDO roughly around the same time. You had roughly, I think 2 decade experience with BBDO, and you joined in 2008. So I want to know from you, Z, what is the biggest difference and the similarity between one of the world's biggest advertising markets is China, where you are from, and India, which is considered to be one of the fastest growing markets?
The difference, let me start with the similarity. I think we have seen enough of consumer pool. I think we have very similar way of looking at, we are both developing country and starting to grow. The difference is I really envy this office. I can't speak for other industry, people or agency. I would say that I really envy this office. The differences is we have the money, but we don't have the good creativity yet. Whereas this office, the power of creativity is there, despite the people are not so many people comparing to China. In terms of my BBDO in that office and this office, I would say the difference is I envy this office because they have the power of creativity and they are very hungry with it. That's why, that's the big difference.
Basically because they have Josy Paul.
Yes. Again, I don't have Josy Paul there, so I envy this office that they have this iconic creator. And not just that, he's already very iconic, but his energy level is never stop. We meet every Friday. He's always giving me new idea, new concept, bouncing idea with us, all of us in the small group called Creative Council. I envy that. So the difference is I don't have Josy in China. They are very lucky to have him in India.
Wow. Thank you, my God.
You know, I was reading one of your older interviews and you mentioned that everything that's not digital is going to be dead, if not already. Yes. That's a very quotable quote, if I can say. And so right now, because you are in India, I'd like to rate BBDO India on a scale of 1 to 10 on its digital prowess.
Okay, let me rephrase that word that I mentioned. I remember why I say that, because in China, no client will come to you and say, I want a TVC, because everything is on digital. So that's why we see every digital work is like oxygen to us right now. It's going to happen here as well. But again, I do not want to say you must force yourself to be knowing that or doing that, because we are the consumer as well behind those digital system, right? We play on our phone, we're using the digital thing. This office, I would say that they are very, very good in putting up a big idea, an insightful idea, whether be it they find another partner to help them to go down to the digital set. That's their choice. However, if you want me to rate whether we have the capability there, I definitely think that they have that. It's just that the system is very different from China versus India. You guys still need what I just mentioned, the big idea and stuff like that. Where else in China, everything starts from commerce to content to commerce immediately. There's no discussion on that. But love this area. Power of idea is there. Power of a brand is still needed. That's a very rare need. Therefore, back to your question, you want me to rate. I don't want to say we're so good and things like that. I'll give them a 7 right now.
and your favorite digital work from India?
I really like the recent one that I saw on the milk basket thing. that e-commerce, buying online stuff. Have you seen the work? The milk basket, am I right? The
Milk
brand
basket.
name.
Yeah.
Love the work. That is a great digital platform that we play on. That's the work that I like. But if you ask me what's my favorite work that this office have done, no question, it has to be the P&G Ariel campaign. Yes.
Okay. Josy, I want to come to you. Every agency has a different journey. I remember when I interviewed you in 2016, you were India's most awarded agency. I want to understand from you, what do you consider as your goal right now? I mean, you've won awards, you won that distinction. What next?
Great question, but I'm going to take it in two parts. One, I want to talk about the question you asked, Z. In 2008, when we set up the agency, the first campaign we did was Women Against Lazy Stubble. Gillette. Gillette. There was no big film. It was all digital. We invented the movements that can happen through digital. And at that point, we said, if you really want to create a brand salience and brand sentiment and brand desirability, you should create engagement and you got to create conversation. And the only way you can create conversation is if you have an idea that's provocative. And that's how we did Women Against Lazy Stubble, and it started on a Facebook page, which then became a discussion across whatever social media was available at that time. The campaigns after that, which we did, which was the mission to make India heart healthy, was completely digital. We even created an app for you to check your heart health. So that's just to give perspectives, because sometimes we forget that. The third thing is that Share the Load has never had a film on TV. It's all on YouTube and digital. Fourth, we won the Digital Agency of the Year last year at one of the award shows. So for me, it's not about, are we doing enough on digital? No, we're not. But do we feel it? Do we sense the stream and how we can talk to people? We know we can. But like Z said, we want to look at that big thing which allows conversation, which allows brands to rise and be relatable and part of society, and not just a little laughter in the corner. So we want to sit in the center of the circle. We don't want to be this one-off thing. So that's why a lot of our work is about creating communities, creating conversations, or what we call social currency. And we believe social currency will convert into real currency for brands. So, sorry about that long thing, but going forward, for me, I really don't know. And I don't want to know, because for me, my next thing will come when I listen to human beings. It's that, which is why we have the White Room. It's about deep listening. Even when I did Women Against Lazy Stubble, I sat for 9 months in coffee shops, not knowing what the next big thing is. But I sensed it, as I was talking to people, random people, or people I met from colleges. And so for me, this is that time. I think Cannes this year is a great sort of representation of where creativity is going. And I want to understand that better. But at the same time, we have to look at what clients need immediately, and that's what we are focusing on. Social impact, brand impact, business impact. And we are fortunate that we have clients who are sort of in sync. So somewhere between all of us, we'll find that answer, Neeta. It's not me alone. I cannot do this alone. I'm not alone. I'm very dependent.
Okay, so I really want to know from you, Z, what is the business target that you've given for to Josy? Don't pass it to him.
I'm going to pass it back to him, but I will say that I'll say it on behalf of the entire Asia. BBDO is all about creativity. The work is our theme. If you ask me what's the business target for him, because we all believe in people plus work equal to profit. So we have the right people. The people know how to do the work. we believe the profit is coming very naturally. So if I have a challenge for this office, so I go back to looking at this year Cannes. I mean, admittedly, we didn't do well for Asia. So we should do better to contribute to the global BBDO ranking. We didn't do well, so we told ourselves we shouldn't be happy. We shouldn't be just sitting down there and cry out loud. What we need to do is do better. And Cannes, whether it's Cannes, we believe in doing work that shapes the market, and this office know how to do it. Therefore, challenge for him is to bring the entire Asia office, lead up the Asia office creativity, and he know what to do. Back to you.
I want to also understand from you, how much has the agency grown over last year? And what is the focus today? New clients or the older relationships that you had?
We're focusing a lot on growth and on new business. So that's, like I would say, almost 100% of our focus. One of the reasons is that it allows us to look at new areas of work, people, and creativity. So the newer the people, newer the clients are from diverse areas, we find it not only helping the bottom line, but also helping our own growth as individuals. So right now there's somebody in the area of sustainability that's come to us. There's another person who's come to us about recycling in Goa. So things like that. These are all very new age stuff. And I think that is why we're seeking the new. And growth for us is both a combination of revenue, and that's critical because it means a lot, because I think I can't get into the figures at this time because I can feel the tension behind me of don't say a word. And all I can say is our focus is on new business, because new business means new avenues.
And I'd love to know about the new business wins this year. I've seen your WhatsApp work. I think it's remarkably, it's really nice. I want to know about the other businesses that you won this year, and what is the work in the pipeline?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not so good at rattling out these names here because I so focus on the work. So I know we've done reasonably well on new business, but I don't think we're very happy with our progress. So that's all I can say at this point. But I think in the next month and a half, you should be hearing more from us, and I'll give you the specifics.
And there's another thing. I think BBDO India has managed to pull many rabbits out of the hat. I think just like Z was saying, creativity-wise, you are unmatched. I remember Share the Load, which is I think the only campaign from India which is won year after year on the same idea, but with a different approach. And this is, I think, the only time that it didn't really get that response at Cannes. So I want to understand our awards at Cannes, and otherwise, is that a very important factor for you now? Because I had interviewed you in the past and you said it doesn't matter to you. Though you're winning it, it doesn't matter. So is that the same today as well?
But Neeta, just to answer your question, I need to go back to an objective for us. So I also lead the Asia Creative Council, and I also, I'm an integral part of India. So our mission is to see that our recognition increases. So it's about recognition, and recognition creates motivation. It allows more people to see our work. Sometimes that work gets lost, but recognition allows people to focus on the work. So awards are important from that perspective. But awards is not what starts the work. What starts the work is an inherent quality of individuals to find something new that affects society, impacts the brand, creates good business sense. So for that, we're constantly focusing on human beings and on consumers. And if you shift that focus, it'll become artificial. Yeah. So I keep saying you can't play tennis by looking at the scoreboard. Yeah. You have to play tennis. You have to enjoy the game. So you have to be that person who's sitting with human beings talking, and somewhere a magic happens. And then you say, I'm going to create something. And then you build from that. And then the world says, oh, we love that. And they give you an award or they don't give you an award. And that is good. So it's this balance and coexistence. It's not one thing or only one thing. If you know what I mean. There's the halo, but there's also the core. There's the icing on the cake, but there's also the cake. So focus on the cake and the icing follows is what I say.
Today every creative agency wants to have specialist areas, maybe gaming verticals, AI, e-commerce specialists. I want to understand from you, Z, you look at the bigger market, Asia, the strongest, I think, in the world right now. What do you think is integral for the success of a creative agency today? Do you think these are important? You need to have these efficiencies in-house at this point?
I will say that I will look into different market needed. So for China, sitting in Beijing, we run Mercedes as our big client. We need a team that actually manage the Team X business. Team X as a group that managing every aspect of marketing in Mercedes-Benz. That team need a lot of car expert. We do have very specialist people there, whether be it managing the platform, whether managing the media, whether managing the need of the auto business for that. I really felt that it's following what our client needs here. So back to you will be, do we need an AI? Do we need a gaming? It really depends on what the client needs here. We always start with, get a partner who is really good in doing that, so that you unless you really wanted to take them on and set up your own, otherwise work with somebody. Collaboration is the most important thing in this world today. I'm not going to claim that we know all this, we have that. Do not do that. Do what you are very, very good at and partner with somebody. I think this is if your client needs that, always start with that. In BBDO Asia, we do have many specialists in many other things. Like in China, we have the AI team that helping client managing assets. That's weird to talk about, but we never really sell it. But because we have a client need that, because there are 6,000 dealers that we need to make sure that every dealers to do advertising, the AI will check the CI and VI. You see, those are the specialists that we have. But do we need it here? If we need it here, we can take the system over here. But if we don't need it here, don't force it. We also have a branding consulting company called Batten and Company. We just help clients to do all those before going to marketing kind of segmentation. What's your target? What do you need to? How do you portfolio your business? That is another specialist that we have. We also have an event team called BBDO Live, doing a lot of live marketing for clients, or we do a lot of alcohol show and things like that for clients. Really depends. And again, we can adapt that into India if we need it here. Again, I'm not going to force it unless you need it. If your client doesn't need that, don't force it. Work with a partner.
So at this point, have you invested in any of these capabilities in India, in the Indian market?
Yeah, great question. Z?
Okay. So the funny thing is, the dealers things that I mentioned, the AI that doing the managing of assets thing, we are going to start here. I think Shuraja wanted to do it in the next 3 months, so we are going to launch it. Hopefully, when we launch it, we can give you more information. It might do it differently for the client needs here. And Batten and Company, I felt that the team here, the planning team here, are very good in doing this segment. We wanted to make sure that Batten and Company can be launching here as well. So again, that will be coming soon. But I do not know the timing. But we are going to have that. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to say that this office has a very, very good specialist team, which is Flair. which is the content production team. The work that I told you about the milk basket, it was done and created and produced by that team, Flair. Very
called
good
Flair.
work.
We have a content production team called Flair.
Yeah, I envy that team as well because it's quick, it's fast, and it's
We haven't
professional.
spoken about it. Thanks for bringing
Yeah.
that up.
Nice. And you know, acts and ads, not ads, has been this philosophy, BBDO across. Now, I want to really understand, you know, when you obviously you're talking about brand purpose as well here. What is brand purpose really? Is it what purpose the brand serves in a consumer's life, or is it the brand's purpose towards society at large? Because there's always that confusion. And what do you really?
For me, it is giving meaning for people. People are not buying brands; they're looking for meaning. So what we're offering through our products, services, brands is we're offering meaning. Some people call it brand purpose, some people call it social change. But it's really about the individual. The question you asked to answer it, it's not a society, it's the person, the unit of that society, which is the individual. If that individual finds meaning, that individual becomes an ambassador. That ambassador affects another person who then becomes an ambassador. That's why we say we create social movements. But we don't, it's not like everybody starting at the same time. It's one person at a time. And that's why for us it's important to impact one person. And if many one persons get affected, then communities are formed. And from those conversations are formed. And from that, sentiment is created for the brand, and from that desirability happens. So that is the chain. It's that it starts with the individual. When we put out a piece of work on Share the Load, the amount of comments we get from individuals is incredible. It's like a catharsis. It's a confession box. And then, other people come in and say the same thing or new things. And suddenly there's a collective of people who feel the same way. So that's what I would, to answer your question, yeah, it is about the individual. It's not, I'm going to change society. It's, I'm going to help somebody find meaning in his or her life. That's what we look for. We seek meaning.
And also just to build on that, when you talk about meaning, and it always sounds like a very long-term plan. And today, correct me if you deal with the marketers directly, they have very small innings, short innings at the companies they work for. And I think the agenda is to show immediate results. And all of this will obviously take a lot of time to build. So I want to understand from you what, in today's world of quick fixes, how important is brand purpose, and how much do you struggle in convincing the marketers?
Neeta, the thing is, our first campaign in 2015 gained them almost 70% increase. So it was happening within 4 months and 5 months. So it's not, that long term. Yeah, it just sounds it, because we use the words like brand purpose. Meaning means I'm immediately finding meaning. It's like a therapist, yeah. It's create like a child is an idea we gave for White Hat Junior. It's an online education brand that was launched during the pandemic. 2 years into the pandemic, he sold his company at an amazing, rate to Byju's. Ask him what the value of meaning is. He was going through a PR crisis when he came to us on White Hat Junior. And it was a pure, of course, he did TV, digital, and performance marketing. So what he did beautifully was he managed the balance like a DJ of media. It's like a DJ of media. You do the right thing on social media, you do the right thing on performance marketing, and you do the right thing on TV with a central idea, which is create like a child with deep meaning. And that changed the fortunes of his brand and himself. He now lives in Costa Rica in a commune. So you tell me, what is this long-term thing? It's not, it's immediate.
It's very interesting to hear. What do you add to that?
No, I wanted to highlight that a lot of people felt that the short-term solution, doing quick fix, and it's okay to not following the brand equity. I felt that that is absolutely wrong, because every money that you spend on marketing, you should follow your brand equity, and like it's just like building a house. If every brick that you use is following the same format, you are building the house. But if you are like, oh, this one, I need to go out and do this live marketing and we don't need to follow the brand equity, and it's like it became a rubble and you just put it into your house. How can you build the brand? And every penny that you use, you need to use it correctly and responsibly, and do not waste that money. I always remind a lot of my clients, please don't waste any single cent that you are using. Build your brand. One brand that I will tell you that have been doing very well like this, look at everything they do, whether it's big or small, it's always about the ocean. Corona, just look at their campaign, whether be it Cannes, whether be it Save the World, whether be it Save the Sea, whether be it just recycling the packaging or the cap, or the ritual of putting lemon, is all about the equity, the brand equity. I felt that they are not a big brand. I don't think they have a lot of money spending on that, but they are building a good brand ahead of them. Every money and everywhere in the world are doing that.
Also, I think you must talk to the guys in PNG. You'll notice that after every 4 months of our campaign, their sales has increased somewhere between 29% to 70%. Okay? And their equities, which is about emotional equities, for people like me, the various parameters that are there when you check equities, they all rise. So it's more than just sales. You're getting sales, that's a byproduct. You're getting a lot more than that. You're getting communities to be your ambassador, hand raisers, things like that. So you're getting, and what is happening is, because of the word, you think that this is some airy-fairy thing which does not result in sales. But year on year, check the sales of Ariel after a campaign.
I also felt that what they do is building a love mark for the brand. People love the brand, willing to attach to it. That's very important.
Whisper, touch the pickle. Look at when Johnson's was #1. Look at where Whisper is today. So it's not, there's this notion, because these words come in the way, I feel.
Just one last question for you, Josy. We had this era of Alec Wadamsi, Mike Khanna, then we've come to Piyush Pandey, Prasoon, you. And I want to understand, is the next era of advertising an agency still going to be personality-led, or is it going to be, you're just as good as the last work you've done?
That's a great question. I mean, even I've been trying to understand that in this fragmented world. Personalities were built because we had very, narrow media. We didn't have too many other mediums. Today, the mediums are all over, right? So you may be a great personality because you're a social media influencer or big on social media. You may be a personality because you're more seen on print. So I think the notion of who's going to be the iconic figures of advertising is going to change drastically. And that's a great question. But what will not change is what is great work. So I think the beautiful thing about today is that it'll be about the work and not the people, is what I think. As in, not the person. The person, of course, will get the reputation, but the work is what will get talked about more. To answer your question, and I think it's a question you should ask everybody as a consistent question to see how people answer it differently, I would say work is going to become the new personality, because work will travel on social media and more people will seek the work. People will also seek the person, but they'll seek the work more than ever. So if in the past people knew the person and then the work. Now it will be people know the work and then the person is what I would say.
In that case, here's to great work, and we're looking forward to that and more from BBDO India and Asia. And hope to see you more often in India.
Yes, I wanted to as well. This is my first trip. I wanted to come back more.
Yeah, Z has been very kind to us and has been giving us such solid motivation right through the day. And we really know she means it, and we also are feeling good about it. I must tell you that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it was lovely catching up with both of you. Thank you so much for your time.